Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our School of Business information session. My name is Kim Bornstein. I'm the admissions officer at UConn Stamford. I am so excited to have two of our UConn Stamford advisors here with us today to share with you more about the ins and outs of the School of Business. Participants, today we won't be able to see or hear you, but there is a great question box to the right-hand side of your screen. So feel free at any time to type in your questions. Today's agenda is as follows. We will have a 15 to 20 minute or so presentation for you all, and then we have left plenty of time for your individual specific questions. So whenever you think of something, type it in the box and we will get to it as soon as we finish our presentation. Welcome, everybody. We're very excited that you're here with us. Just going to allow 1 or 2 more minutes for everybody to log in, get situated. I know it is a chilly day in New England, at least it is in Connecticut, so I hope you're in a cozy spot with your family or friends around you and excited to learn more about UConn Stamford, and the School of Business. We will get started very shortly. Welcome, everybody. All right, so to be mindful of time, we are going to get started. Again, my name is Kim Bornstein. I'm the admissions officer at UConn Stamford. I am thrilled to see so many familiar names. I used to say faces, but for the past year, I see a lot of the same names that have joined us for so many of our sessions, so welcome back. For those of you who it's just your first time joining us today, welcome. We are very excited that you are here to learn more about UConn Stamford, and the School of Business. We have an exciting presentation for all of you today. We'll spend about 20 minutes or so going over some ins and outs about the School of Business at UConn Stamford, and then we will leave plenty of time for questions at the end. You can ask any question you might have about the School of Business, UConn Stamford, the City of Stamford, the trade, and we will try to answer all of your questions. Participants, today we won't be able to see or hear you, so for your questions, you'll use that chat box in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. All right, so Allison and Emma, I am so excited that both of you are here with us today. I'm going to turn it over to both of you for our ins and outs presentation about the School of Business. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks, Kim. Hi to everyone listening, wherever you are. Like Kim was saying, we might not all be in the same state right now, but hopefully you are comfy where you are and ready to learn a little bit more about the School of Business at UConn Stamford. So just to introduce ourselves, the person that's talking right now, at least, my name is Allison Lerman. I'm one of the undergraduate academic advisors for the School of Business at the Stanford campus. Just a little bit more about our team as well. So we have advisors at each of the UConn campuses, all the way from Hartford Stores to Waterbury. So we're here and we work as a cohesive unit to make sure that all of our School of Business students feel supported.
And I'm Emma Bjorngard-Bassane. So as Allison mentioned, we're both academic advisors in the School of Business, and I'm very excited to talk to you virtually today.
So today we're going to be going over a couple of things. Like Kim mentioned, there will be a large portion saved for questions and answers. We want to make sure that we're answering anything that you might be wondering about specifically, but hopefully some of the things we talk about today will also help guide those questions. So we'll be doing an overview of our major programs that are offered through the School of Business. We'll be talking about additional programs to take advantage of, our School of Business advising model that you would experience as one of our students, and the Stanford experience as a business student. So overall, this should last about 1 hour, depending on how many questions, come about. So please don't hesitate to reach out with those questions. We're happy to answer them while we're here with you today. And we are going to shift to our website. And so one of the reasons why Emma and I thought it would be great to highlight our website today with you was because when we're done with this presentation, you'll be able to use the website yourself to maybe look into certain things or follow up on certain concerns you might have or questions. So today we're going to use our website for our presentation, and you can learn a little bit about how to navigate through it. Because I don't know about all of you, but sometimes on new websites, there's so much good information that it's hard to find the specific information you're looking for. So that's where we're going to start today.
Yes. So Allison, if you scroll down just a little bit, I wanted to begin by highlighting right at the top, if you have any questions after this presentation specifically for us in the School of Business, you can email us at undergrad.business@uconn.edu. So, just go to our website and it's easy to get in contact with us. Just a little bit more in terms of being a student in the School of Business. We have virtual drop-in advising hours. So that's something that's available if you have specific questions and want to chat with an advisor in particular. You can't really see it right now, but there is a chat function on our website as well. And we have peer advisors who are overseeing the chat. So that's a great way if you want to ask a current School of Business student about their experience. So feel free to use the chat to ask specific questions for our students. Another thing I just wanted to highlight quickly before we get started some more is our forms section on the website. One thing there that you might be interested in is if you scroll down a little bit more, we have a prospective student advising record. So that might be something that you want to take a look at because it gives you a sense at the top how the first couple of semesters in the School of Business would look like for a business student or someone who starts in ACES and then goes through our internal admissions process to become a business student. So just some information and more resources for you to look into on your own. So Allison is going to talk a little bit about our different majors, our majors program.
Thanks, Emma. So you'll see up here, we have some guiding light tabs that you can decide to choose on and click, and we're going to utilize a few of them today. But one of the places we wanted to first start off, and we'll come back to this to go over these programs as well, but we wanted to talk a little bit about the majors that are offered in the School of Business. So on this page, you'll see every major that we offer that you currently have access to. There are a couple of specifics I do want to highlight before we maybe click into one and explore what one certain web page looks like. You'll see down here under every major, the campus where that major is offered is listed. So please make sure you're being mindful when you're looking at majors to see what are your opportunities at Stanford. So just to go over briefly, the majors that we currently offer at Stanford are business data analytics, financial management, and marketing management. So those are the three that we offer. And fortunately, all the web pages are structured the same. So just as an example, I'll use financial management. So you'll see when you enter one of these major pages, it gives a good description of the major and some of the opportunities that you can take advantage of that are related to that major. You can learn about the academics and the curriculum within, certain opportunity you can take advantage of outside of the classroom, which is what we refer to as experiential learning. And then we also talk about professional development and careers. So the departments are involved in creating these web pages, which I think is great because they're definitely, especially the faculty, they're the ones that do research in the field or have worked in the field before. So these are very insightful pages. You'll also be able to find your plan of study, which is a page that is similar to the one that Emma just highlighted. This will show you the classes that you would take as this major. And then you can also learn a little bit more, for example, about the finance department and the finance classes. We also, when possible, try to feature some of the podcasts that are edited by Emma, actually, along with one of our other colleagues. And if they're related to the major, they'll be listed here so you can learn a little bit more. This is a perfect example. What is the financial management major? So if you weren't sure, but it does sound interesting, that can be a good listen. If you also scroll down, I can talk to you about things that you might want to get interested in or look into as career paths, some events and activities or articles that were related to something with UConn and financial management, and some nice follow-up from students that are currently in the major. So I think the major pages are great to explore, especially right now when you're just trying to figure out not only where you want to go, but maybe what you want to do. So I would definitely recommend checking these out. One of the other things that is great is that talk chat feature that Emma mentioned. It's not available right now because it's only open during business hours. I think it's typically 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. But you can actually talk to some of our peer advisors who are student leaders in the School of Business, and they'd be happy to talk to you about any of the majors that they're in or they know that their friends or peers are in. So I think that's a great resource as well because you can actually do that anytime you want during business hours this year or when you first start at UConn. You can connect with a student and discuss that right away.
Great, thank you. If you can just click on the academics tab, I just wanted to show you the minors page that we have as well. So Allison, if you could click on the minors in business link. So many of our business students, they decide to, they get a degree in, say, financial management or business data analytics, and then they pair it up with a minor. So you can see on the left-hand side, minors that are open to any major, and then there are some minors that are open to non-business majors only. So, someone who decides to maybe major in, psychology, but they want to pair that up with a business fundamentals minor. So that's something that you can do at the Stanford campus and is a very popular route for students to take. Also, if you go back up to the academics form or the tab, Allison, and then click on the 4+1 opportunities. So this is, you guys are, looking into starting college, but something to start thinking about and something that the Stanford campus offers is different 4+1 opportunities. So these are actually graduate programs. The students get to start taking graduate level courses as undergrad. So they complete their undergraduate degree in 4 years, and then they add that one extra year for graduate school. So we have the Business Analytics and Project Management Master's program. We have a Master's of Science in Accounting, and then a Financial Risk Management Master's program as well. So just for you to start looking around, and that's something that a lot of our business students in Stanford take advantage of. We also have the part-time MBA program, which usually students get their undergraduate degree and then, spend some time working and then come back to complete an MBA. So that's also something to just keep in mind. I know many of you are already thinking about those types of opportunities. Okay, so I think Allison is going to talk a little bit about our advising model.
Yes. So that's a little bit about, the academic side of the house, things that you get a choice in and might want to take advantage of academically. One thing we did want to make sure we take time to talk about is the advising, because that's what we do here within the office. That would be our interactions with you. So just to give everyone, an idea, especially if you've already attended some of these presentations, I'm sure you've already learned. Academic advisors are really here to be a resource for you when you have questions. So we might not always be the ones to answer that specific question, but we'll definitely get you connected to who you would want to talk to answer that question. So for example, if you had a question about your tuition, you would want to go talk to the bursar's office, but your advisors can kind of help create that bridge along with making sure that you are academically progressing successfully in the program you're in. So if you're ever wondering like, oh, what classes should I take during a term? How am I doing in my classes? What will happen if my grades, are doing great or not doing so great? We highlight opportunities too within UConn, like joining the honors program. So our role kind of takes on a few different hats, but ultimately we just want to reassure you all, not only are we, you're seeing us today and we're meeting you, but we're definitely here for you when you first start, your first term. We can be your first resource and make sure you get hooked up to any resource that you need. It can be a little overwhelming with how much support UConn offers, and it's wonderful, but sometimes you need that navigation support. So that's what we're here for, along with your academic success. In the School of Business, our advising model is what we refer to as a 2x2 model. So that means for your first 2 years, so your first and second year, you work directly with us. We're your academic advisors, and we check in with you multiple times during the semester to make sure that you're on track, you feel comfortable registering for courses. If you have questions about your classes, your faculty, grades, any of those things, we're right there with you. Then in your third and fourth year, you'll work with a faculty advisor. And the reason for that is because, as I mentioned before, faculty are in the field. Many of them do research. So we want to make sure that you have that connection to your future career path, because they're great to ask questions about and to seek out opportunities through. So that helps build that connection, and you work with them as you're moving forward towards your graduation. So one of the things that Emma and I love doing, and we definitely will do with you, is we hold semesterly individual meetings with students as well as workshops. So a lot of times when we're trying to get information out to you, we might do emails or larger scale workshops to do something like we're doing now, where we walk through a process or a website. But we also have individual meetings with students too. So that gives us some time to really talk to a student about what they're hoping to take advantage of, and just to kind of see where are the concerns and where are your excitements. The other thing too is we have the drop-in hours. So we know we already mentioned this, but you can come to drop-in hours with our, as we mentioned, our staff across Connecticut at multiple campuses, and we're all there to make sure we can answer questions. So it's literally what it sounds like. You just drop in. You don't need an appointment time with us. You don't need to schedule anything. You can just come in during drop-in hours, and we'd be happy to answer your question through calls or when we're in person as well. There's also the talk feature with the PAs that peer advisors, that we mentioned before. And you can always talk to them, not just about exploring your major, as we mentioned as an example, but if you're wondering, maybe you want to know their opinion on some of our critical classes, which are classes that our students take in their first 2 years, you can ask them for that. Or you could ask them, if they've looked into something maybe like study abroad as a business student. So those are good ways to utilize the peer advisors with the staff advisors during drop-ins if you have specific questions about total credits or cumulative GPAs, what to take for classes so you progress successfully. That's something that we can definitely help with in drop-in.
Perfect. So let's go to the Experience tab and click on the Launch tab on the left-hand side. So Launch is our strategic weekly engagement program. So we send out a newsletter to all of our business students every week with, study tips and fun videos about, say, time management. So it's a way that we connect with students and also highlight opportunities, whether those are education abroad opportunities, different professional opportunities, speaker series that we have. You get all of that to your email. And we have one for our Stanford students in particular. Some other fun things that I just wanted to highlight. We have a social media account. So if you just scroll down a little bit more, Allison, definitely follow the UConn School of Business. We have fun updates there. We will do, like, if there's some kind of policy change, if you're a student, you need to learn something quickly, an important date or deadline. We have that through our social media accounts. So that's really fun. And we also have our podcast that Allison already mentioned. So if you scroll down a little bit more, here are, a lot of our different episodes. You can go to our SoundCloud page to see all of them, but I really encourage you to click on the different episodes we have. We have one about marketing management, financial management, the 4+1 programs, just so that you can hear from students and professionals across our different campuses talking about what it's like to be in a specific major. So that's going to help you get a better sense of what to expect. So if you go back up to the top, Allison, and then go to the where we have the student organizations. I just wanted to highlight that too. So that should be under experience and on the left-hand side. So click there. So we have some of the most active business clubs at the Stanford campus, which is really exciting. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that under the Stanford experience, but also just wanted to highlight this. Like, we really encourage our students to get involved. A lot of our students at the Stanford campus are engaged in clubs. So just to give you an example, if you scroll down a little bit further, the School of Business has a lot of different clubs. So depending on your major, if you have a specific interest, that you want to explore further, this is where you would go to learn more. So say, for example, you're interested in data analytics. The Data Analytics Club is in Stanford. You can click on the little plus sign. You can connect with them on social media, or you can go to their website that they have. So they're just some good opportunities for you to explore further. Okay, and then if you scroll up again, Allison, the last thing I just kind of wanted to highlight there is also under experience. We don't have to click there, but we do have different scholarships that are available for our School of Business students. So that's something that we kind of try to put all in one place. Again, something that you should look into and read up on. We also have a speaker series. I think that's under the academics tab. Oh, it's right in front of me. Yes, sorry. So there are different certificates that you can do as a business student. So we have the Global Entrepreneurship Speaker Series that a lot of students do, where you attend. We have alumni and different people connected to the university within the business world. They come and they give lectures to our students, and you can get a certificate through that. So there are many different ways of engaging. Okay, so let's navigate over maybe to the Stanford experience page, Allison.
So this page is likely where a lot of you might start on our website, especially right now as you're trying to make some of your decisions. This page gives you a really good perspective on what is offered for you as a Stanford student in the School of Business. So not only do we talk about our own resources, and we'll scroll down and go through kind of piece by piece with you as well, but we also just highlight what do you have available to you at the Stanford campus. Fortunately, due to the circumstance of the campus, what we all find as staff is we're all able to work very cohesively to support you as a student. We're all located in the main building, so it's very easy for students to navigate between us and also for us to reference out. So if we want to make sure that a student gets connected to some resources, maybe not necessarily people, but something like the Writing Center, we can get them right there very, very fast. And like I said, we're very cohesive. So it's nice because, as I mentioned before, though there are a lot of resources and that should make everyone feel very, very supported, sometimes it's really hard to know where to start with a resource or what resource you might need at a certain time. So that's where, as we get to know you as students, as advisors, we can help reference out and make sure you get connected to the places that would best help you in that moment for that specific thing, or might be helpful in the future as you move forward.
Okay, so I get to highlight some extra fun things. So if you scroll down a little bit further, I already mentioned the clubs, right? So we have the Financial Management Club, the Data Analytics Club, the Marketing Club, all related to our different majors and areas of study. One thing that we have in the School of Business at the Stanford campus is the Business Connections Learning Community. So if you could just switch over to their page. So this is a learning community that students opt into. So this is something that you can do already during orientation. And I mean, it's not a club, but it is a community, and they do a lot of fun events. Like they do site visits to different companies. They take a certain number of courses together, 1-credit courses. So they have a first-year experience class right away, only with business students, with a curriculum that's designed for the BCLC. Then they have a mentorship course. Yeah, you can see some of the fun site visits that they did. They have a mentorship course where they actually get paired up with a professional from their field of study who will be a resource to them. They meet up with them and have dinner, and then they can kind of help them get, through, like, say, an interview process. They get interview experience, and there on the right side, if you look at the screen, you see Catherine Ruiz. She's one of our colleagues. She oversees the BCLCs. Great resource. They went to Vineyard Wine. So this is really something that students love and helps them to make friends. So it's just like a resource we really want to highlight early, so going into orientation that this might be something you want to opt into. So just wanted to highlight that.
I would also say too, just to add on, so many of our students take advantage of that program because it's just a great way to meet your peers in the School of Business as well. It definitely offers a ton of opportunities, like Emma was mentioning, but if you're also just looking for a place to start in terms of your engagement, the BCLC or the Business Connections Learning Community is definitely a great place.
Oh, one thing more. Sorry, I have to mention this because it's so exciting. They, they have been doing trips. Obviously now it's been a little bit of a break, but they go abroad together. So in the summer they go away for like 10 days. They went to Portugal, and that was I think most recent one they did. And I just remember talking to my advisees when they came into my office. They're so excited about it and just really had a great experience together there. So they have a lot of opportunities for students to go abroad, and they have scholarships and all those things to help with that, which is a great resource. And then sorry.
No, I was just saying, do you want to mention the Bloomberg terminal?
Yeah, maybe. You can also get Bloomberg certified. You can do that through the BCLC, but it's also something that any business students can do, which is great that our students have access to that already as undergrads, because sometimes that's something that's part of graduate programs. So that's another perk of being an undergraduate student in the School of Business.
And I think too, just before we scroll away, sometimes, especially, I'm sure a lot of you have gotten used to dealing with your inboxes and emails through this virtual experience these past few, I would say months, but it's really more about a year, a little bit over. But this is also just a good page to come to kind of know what's going on daily. So you'll see this section here for launch events. So not only do we highlight certain clubs on here to join, but also if you're just looking for maybe an event to engage or to meet people that maybe is business oriented or maybe not, they list them here to better help. A lot of the events, given the circumstances of the current day and time, are virtual, but there's still great ways to get engaged. And then fortunately, we're able to highlight certain events that happen at Stanford too, and we're back in person and all together. So down here, we just wanted to highlight two of our last sections as we wrap up. So we just wanted to highlight there are some really great resources that tie into some things that we've mentioned already, but not necessarily everything, that explore diversity. And we definitely put a high priority on this because we want to make sure that our students are getting a global perspective. And we think that that really benefits you in a professional way. And it's a great thing to add to your resume as you get more invested into it, and it expands, the way you're thinking and what you might want to get involved in. So here we just highlight certain cultural clubs, but also some speaker series that are long running at this stage. Also, you can learn more about study abroad there. And then for developing professionalism, one of the benefits of the Stanford campus is we actually have a School of Business career counselor right on site in our office. So you can always connect with her. Her name is Judy Stewart right over here. Whether it's about a resume that you're trying to utilize for a position with UConn or without UConn, in your summers, maybe you can connect with them. If you're thinking, well, I really want to get involved in professionalism, but I'm not really sure where to start. They also host career fairs and different opportunities to get you in front of employers and get some exposure there. So I think it's a really great resource to have on site. And we just wanted to make sure that we highlighted that. They also have their own events as well that are listed here. So again, it's kind of a quick guide that updates daily so that you always can see a couple of events that are going on in the present moment.
Yeah, I think, Kim, that was all of our presentation. So we would love to answer any questions that students have.
Thank you so much, Allison and Emma. You all are doing so much, and you covered so much in your presentation, not only about the School of Business, but the resources that UConn and UConn Stamford offers as a whole. One of the reasons our campus, one of the many reasons I should say, our campus community is so special is because of our advisors like Emma and Allison. I hope today you were able to see their passion about the Stanford community and helping students, not only academically, but maybe there's a club or an organization a student might be a good leader in a good leader position at, or maybe a study abroad opportunity, or maybe you just need to talk. Emma has a great, cute, cuddly cat. So if you've met any of our tour guides that have Emma as their advisor, they will mention on their virtual presentations when we talk about faculty and staff that Emma will show you her cat if you're going through a stressful moment. Or maybe Allison will do some breathing or meditation with you to allow you another opportunity to relax. So both of you are so important to our campus community, and we can't thank you enough for being here. So thank you both. All right. So moving on, there are lots of great questions that came in while both of you were presenting, and we will try to get to all of them. Remember today, participants, we won't be able to see or hear you, so we can't have you unmute yourself and ask your question, but there is a great chat box to the bottom right-hand side of your screen. So feel free to type in your questions and we will try to get to all of them. All right, so let's get started. So one of the questions that came in is about the Business Connections learning community. That struck some interest in some students and some light bulbs went off. So Emma and Allison, when can a student apply into the BCLC?
So that actually happens during orientation. So when we meet with our advisees during orientation, that's something that we will bring up with them. So they actually indicate that to us on a form, before they enter the summer, and we will get that and see that they're interested and provide them with a link and information to actually fill out like an online application form. So we really encourage you to already now, you could go to the BCLC Stanford page and read more about what it means to be in the BCLC. You can hold leadership positions within the BCLC in different areas, which is something that a lot of our advisees do, but that's something that you do during orientation and you do an online application. Yep.
Great. So I just wanted to first, I should have said this at the beginning, but give all of our students who have been admitted to UConn, a very challenging university and a Research One institution, a big round of applause. So congratulations to all of you. Yay, we wish we were in person to officially congratulate you, but I hope this does the trick for now, right? Until you walk and step foot onto our campus. So once you've decided that UConn Stamford is the right fit for you, you will pay your $400 enrollment deposit in your student portal. And then in the next couple weeks / month or so, you'll get an email from our student services, our orientation team, that will ask you to sign up for orientation. So that's what Emma mentioned about at orientation. You'll meet with an advisor. You'll learn about resources on campus. You'll learn about jobs. The admissions office is always hiring tour guides, So if anybody likes speaking in front of large groups, we do hire a big team. So you learn about all the resources and meet with your advisors then when you pick your classes. And that's when you'll indicate that you are interested in the Business Connections learning community. It is a great opportunity. I have a tour guide on the admissions team that received full scholarship to study abroad with the Business Connections learning community. She even received additional money as spending money when she was abroad. So how cool is that opportunity? Unfortunately, due to the circumstance of our world, that trip was canceled, but she should feel so proud of herself for getting an expense-paid trip to study abroad in a different country, which is very exciting. So I definitely urge all of you to check out the BCLC on the webpage or when you come for orientation. Great question. All right. So our next question is about changing your major. So we have students that maybe chose a different major, not in the School of Business, or maybe chose a major in the School of Business, but after our presentation today want to switch. So students, in your student portal, if you're a newly accepted student, there is a change of major form. So you can fill out that form right in your student portal and request a committee review to change your major. So if you maybe were accepted into business data analytics, but now you want to move to financial management, or maybe you are going to review the webpage and really decide what is the right fit for you after today's presentation, you can definitely do that in your student portal. All right. So Emma and Allison, the next question is for both of you. If there's a student that wants to start at UConn Stamford, but wants a campus change to the Stores campus, how would that work in terms of majors?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually have an application process that's involved. So if you start at Stanford, you might be undecided business or a specific major at Stanford, one of the three that we mentioned. You would start there. And then once you meet the requirements of the application, you can go ahead and apply to our School of Business at the Stores campus, or if you're thinking about changing to another regional campus, to take advantage of some of their programs and opportunities as well. Through that process, you will take the majority of your first and second year courses with us at Stanford, because the first 2 years of the School of Business for any major you're in are the same, and you can take all those classes at any of the campuses. So we're very fortunate because that's your time that you spend with Emma and myself as advisors. So we're excited to get to know you either way. And then we can also help walk you through what that application entails, the timeline of it, and the needs of that application when the time comes.
Great, thank you so much. And Allison, another related question. A student that has been admitted to UConn Stamford in our ACES program, our Academic Center for Exploratory Students, but really wants to be in the School of Business. What would that process look like?
Yeah, that's a great follow-up question. So it's actually one and the same process. So whether it's to change campuses or to change into the School of Business from another major, maybe engineering or ACES or CLAS, whatever your major might be, if it's outside of the School of Business, you'll go through that same application process. And fortunately, especially at Stanford, you can still do those courses that we discussed in your first 2 years, no matter what major you are. The reason why we have certain classes taken in the first 2 years is because they're ultimately prerequisite classes for business focused curriculum in the future. And that's why we want to make sure you take those in your first 2 years, and we look at how you've done in those to establish, is the School of Business the right fit and exactly what major.
I'm just going to add just one more comment there. We work really closely with the ACES team, like the advisors there. So they will take great care of you, in terms of advising you through that process. And then what's so great with Stanford, as Allison mentioned before, we're all in the same building. So you can come and meet with Allison and I, even though you're not yet in the School of Business, and we will make sure, and help you. So we're always available.
Great, that's a really important piece to add, Emma. So UConn has over 115 different majors, and you can even create your own major. So coming in maybe from high school or even from another university, it can be challenging and even overwhelming to figure out what is the right fit for you. So a good portion of our incoming students do start in our ACES program. About 1/4 of all incoming students at UConn start in our ACES program. Now, you can't graduate in our ACES program. It is that, just a program, but our advisors definitely will work with you to figure out what is the best fit. What classes do you like the most? What are your career goals? What are your career values, right? Your values sometimes align with your major. Do you want to travel? Do you like math? Do you not like math? So there's lots of great questions that our ACES advisors and even Allison and Emma will work with you to decide what is the right fit for all of you. So thank you both so much for explaining the process. We know students joining us today are in a lot of different situations. We have some transfer students. We have some newly accepted students. We have some students accepted into other majors, students accepted into the School of Business majors. So we want to make sure we answer all of your questions and address every situation for all of you this evening. So I'm going to move into our next question, which is about housing. Housing is very special at UConn Stamford. So our students will live in apartment style housing, which is very exciting. As of now, there is no dedicated housing for the Business Connections learning community. Emma, has there been any discussion or chatter about creating a Business Connections learning community in a residential hall, or not as of now that you know of?
Not that I know of right now. So yeah.
Great. Things change so often, and I have the two experts with us this evening, so I just wanted to confirm with them that that was the case. I would definitely encourage anybody interested in housing. We have two opportunities for you to learn more. We have a residential life virtual tour where we will take you through every spot in our beautiful apartments. So when I say beautiful, I mean granite countertops, hardwood floors, washer and dryer, a walk-in closet where you can fit a mattress. Like, that's how big it is. And so I definitely encourage you to check out that virtual presentation through the admissions office. And we also have a special presentation called Living at UConn Stamford. So we can dive even more into maybe some of the procedural or what to bring when you're living at UConn Stamford in our housing. So definitely something to consider for our incoming students. All right, let me keep moving through our questions. You all have some fantastic questions, so keep them coming. I can definitely put the link in the chat box to some of our virtual events, but let me continue talking a little more about some other opportunities to connect with us. So I really like the tool on the business website where you can chat with a peer advisor. That's a great option. We also have the major experience where there are folks in pretty much all majors at UConn, and you can chat with them too. You can email them and ask them questions about their classes, about what they like about UConn. And so that's another great opportunity. You can chat with our current students. So we have a current student chat where you can ask them questions about their classes, about their class size. One thing that makes UConn Stamford so special, I know I'm saying this so many, but there's so many reasons that UConn Stamford is so special, is you're getting a Research 1 institution education in a really small environment. So as Emma and Allison mentioned, we are all in one building for most of our classes. And so you see staff and faculty, as well as your students and your peers every day, walking through the hallway at Starbucks Cafe. You might find Emma there in the mornings. So there's some great opportunities to connect with our staff and students and faculty, which is one of the reasons that makes UConn Stamford so special. We also have an admissions chat. So maybe you have a specific situation and we didn't address it today. If I don't know all the answers, I will definitely reach out to Emma or Allison and clarify and get those answers for you. So please feel free to sign up for any of our sessions. There's lots of resources out there. I know the college journey is a difficult one just in general, and then this year has been even more challenging for a lot of our students. Right now, we are all virtual, and so some of you have never stepped foot on our campus, and we try our hardest to share with you the passion and the light that UConn Stamford brings to the Stamford community. But again, it is challenging to make a decision without stepping foot on the campus, and we totally understand that. We are working very hard to provide you as many opportunities as we can to connect with all of you. So thank you for your patience, and feel free to reach out with what questions you have. I know sometimes you're like, oh man, I wish I would have asked that. You have lots of opportunities to ask that, so don't worry if you forget tonight or think of something later on. All right, so a question came in about our different campuses. So let me talk for a couple minutes about that. So UConn has 4 regional campuses. We're our Stamford campus, where we're about 52 minutes away from New York City. We have a campus in Hartford and Waterbury. So those 3 are your more urban settings, your more city settings. We have a gorgeous campus in Groton, Connecticut called Avery Point. So any student, you're probably not with us today, who's interested in marine sciences or marine biology, or wants to look out their window and see sailboats go by every day, we love being invited to a meeting at Avery Point because it is such a gorgeous campus. And then we have our main campus in Stores. So our main campus and the Stamford campus is about 111 miles. I never like to provide the time difference because if anybody has ever traveled on the Merritt or 95 during a typical work week or typical day during the week, it all depends on traffic, construction, and accidents. So I always provide the mileage and not the hours, but typically it takes about 2 hours to get from Stamford to Stores. We are the two farthest away campuses from each other. But that brings up another great point. Emma, you have taken the train to UConn Stamford for a while now. Can you share with us about that experience for you?
Yeah, and actually, I know that I mentioned the podcast earlier. That was an idea I got from taking the train, and I was like, you know what? This is a great opportunity to connect with our students as they're traveling on the train. So a lot of us listen to podcasts, for our commute. But yes, I live in New Haven, so I take the train from New Haven to Stamford every day. I really enjoy it. It allows me to, start my day slowly, and I can read on the train. I can chat with students. Like like Carly, for example, who works in admissions, like she'll be on the train and she gets on a couple of stops after me, but we will talk to each other. I'm also a professor at UConn in philosophy. So sometimes if there's a class, I teach until like 8 p.m. I'll walk with my students, to the train, and we kind of continue our conversations from class on the train, which is really nice. So yeah, and then it's probably like a 10-minute walk from the train station. There's a shuttle, so I take the shuttle sometimes, and sometimes I just walk because the weather is nice. So it's a nice little walk over there.
Great. I know some of our students have never been on the public transportation or even Metro North, but students, it is free for you by using your UPass. Unfortunately, Emma has to pay for her ticket, but for students, it is totally free for you. So during orientation, you'll learn about registering for the UPass, and you'll be able to sign up for that through parking services. And all you have to do is show your student ID and the UPass to the conductor on the train, and you are good to go. So it's a great option to commute. And like Emma said, you'll see your peers on the train, you'll see staff and faculty. It is a nice experience to be able to just hang out after a long day of work or school or a little bit of both. All right. So orientation seems like a popular question right now. So orientation is going to be virtual for summer 2021. Emma or Allison, can one of you explain what that actually looks like? So once students sign up for orientation, do you know any more about how a student would meet with you for advising? How does that session look like virtually?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that you'll have to do as part of orientation. Part of orientation is also meant to orient you to Stamford and the Stamford campus. So you'll find that some sessions that you'll do during your orientation are really more for you to connect with all sorts of resources similar to the ones we've mentioned in our presentation today. When it comes time for us to meet with you, you'll connect with us. You'll actually fill out something prior to, we call them web forms, so online forms, that give us a little bit more information about you. And then we take that plus information that admissions has curated from your experience in high school, and we look and we help you build your schedule. So that way during our meeting with you, we're able to kind of go over what will your fall term look like, what are some questions and concerns you have. If you're looking for ways to engage, we highlight that with you. So you get a very individualized experience in this orientation format virtually. Last summer, we were able to register the students prior to those meetings. So you would come to the meeting and it would be all set for you. We're still organizing how we're going to best do that for students this upcoming term. But fortunately, especially in a virtual era, we're able to communicate with all of you so much quicker. So when we decide things or change things, we'll definitely be able to let you know.
Awesome.
So I know that Allison mentioned this, but we meet with you over WebEx. So when it's virtual, you will meet with us live like this. So you get to connect with us that way.
Great. And ask to see Emma's cat. She'll definitely show the cat to you. All right, great. So I just wanted to clarify a couple things. So the UPass, which is free transportation in the state of Connecticut on buses or the Metro North train, it is just for the state of Connecticut. So if you were to go to Boston or to New York City, you would pay from the last stop in Connecticut until your final destination. I also wanted to share a little more information about housing. So our housing is run, the selection process is actually run at Residential Life up at the store's campus. So if you have specific questions about your housing application or about the different room level rates or what housing looks like, I would definitely reach out to Housing and Residential Life up at the store's campus. So when you're on the website, you will see an 860 number if you're going to call, and that is totally correct. Our housing runs Residential Life for all of UConn, and our campus is included in that. So thank you for asking. These are some really great questions. I think we have time for maybe one or two more questions. So I want to make sure I received all of your questions. Let me just make sure. So our last question for this evening is going to be for Emma and Allison. Can you share with our participants, our attendees this evening, some different companies that come to campus or that our professors work with?
Yeah, so one company that comes to mind right away is Indeed because it's so close to campus. So that would definitely be one of them. We see a lot of our students maybe interning for accounting firms in Stanford. We have a lot of those. Different financial analysts like positions as interns as well. We mentioned, Vineyard Vines is one of them, like their corporate side. What other companies, Allison? Is there some that come to mind in particular?
Well, I think through the career fair too, one of the fortunate things is that because of our proximity to New York City, we have many companies come in, not necessarily from the city, but we do have access to some of the larger names as well. So I'm the name's escaping me right now, but I just remember having met with a student I was advising. And then they actually bopped into an interview with a big name company. I know it doesn't mean much if I can't remember the name right now, so I'm so sorry. But I have definitely myself working there have had exposure to people coming to campus like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. And I think when you
Yes.
are in business, yeah, those are some of the biggest names But I think also too, sometimes it's the names you don't know or the local names too that you'll find you'll get more engagement with, especially as maybe your sophomore summer or junior summer, so your second or third summer. So I would definitely encourage everybody, if you're interested in business or in the School of Business, connect with the career person on the campus, because the local opportunities, as well as going to these fairs and meeting some of these bigger representatives with these bigger companies, is so important. Also in the BCLC, sorry, Emma, to point out for the business learning community as well, they do a great networking forum twice a year where a lot of professionals actually come in just to give you that experience of giving your elevator pitch and engaging with people in the profession. So by being part of that program, you actually get exposed to talking to these people. And while it's focused on you honing your networking skills, it's actually a great way to network as well. So I definitely recommend, it's a great opportunity that's offered to students who do join that program.
Two other companies come to mind. So we have multiple graduates, seniors who graduated that went to Ernst & Young. So that's a big, we have a lot of alumni there from Stanford. Also Kind Bar. So a lot of students, like at least two or three that I know personally that went there, which is exciting. So those were just two other names that popped into my head.
We should point, I think Em and I we're coming up with them kind of sporadically because so many come. But one thing too, just to highlight, one of the speaker series Emma mentioned, the global business one, that actually in the past has featured people who own their own businesses, albeit small or large, that have grown over time, that are either UConn alum or have connections to UConn. So even by just doing that speaker series and getting a certificate, you'll actually be able to engage. Fortunately, I had a student who had applied to be into the School of Business, but had done that speaker series outside of the School of Business. And he was actually able to create with someone who created their own cooking spices company. And it was very well known in the nation now. So the fact that he was able to do that even before he was in the School of Business was just such a cool experience to see. And then he really got to connect with them now that he's in the School of Business officially. So it was a really great evolution.
Yeah, I feel like I get so excited about this, but like also we have a lot of our students who are very entrepreneurial. So a lot of business students with their own companies, like clothing brands, things like that. So it's very exciting to see how creative they are. So just wanted to put that out there too.
Great. Being located, our campus being located in the city of Stamford is so helpful, and having the train as a method of communication opens so many more doors for our students than maybe being located in a more rural setting. So that's one thing exciting about UConn Stamford and our location. I know that in one of the pictures that we shared with you all today on the website, I think our students were at WWE holding up the belt. I don't know the official name. I apologize. I don't watch too much wrestling, but that's some important belt that gets stored at WWE, and our students had the opportunity to go learn more and visit, and they're located right before the train station now, within walking distance of our campus. So some really interesting, unique opportunities to be held at UConn Stamford and in our School of Business. So I wanted to thank all of you for your time this afternoon or this evening. I know that there's so many competing priorities and there's so much going on, and you probably, most of you sat on Zoom or WebEx or on the computer all day. So thank you again for attending our session. I did record this session, so if you missed something or have questions, you can definitely reach out to the admissions office and we will send you the recording. We also have another presentation coming up at the end of the month. If you know a friend or somebody didn't get to watch, somebody at your house didn't make it home from work in time to be with us this evening, and you want to watch it live, or even if you have more questions, we are running a similar presentation at the end of the month, so we hope to see some of you back again. Well, everyone, have a great Thursday evening. Thank you again for your time this evening. I hope you learned something, and we are all here to help. So please feel free to reach out to us with any questions you have. We want to be that resource, and we want to help you on this college journey. Stay safe, everyone. Have a great night, and we will talk to you soon.